Why does joining the armed forces limit a person's freedom of speech? How exactly are people in any job in the United States of America supposed to whistleblow within the organization that they work for when they get reprimanded for coming out publicly, or they get reprimanded in subversive ways when they go through the official channels? This year is the official nationwide commemoration of the 250th anniversary of the United States of America, marking the signing of the Declaration of Independence. As a part of the celebration, TikTok is hosting the America 250 TikTok contest. Within this contest, which I've joined, TikTok has asked creators to explore the history, traditions, and culture that have shaped the nation, including patriotic traditions, art, music, and cultural heritage. As an attempt to uphold our patriotic tradition of questioning authority, we are going to look at the reasoning as to why the Uniform Military Code of Justice restricts speech for its personnel. As a recent example, we'll be looking at the case of Air Force Major Jason Watson. Let's look at the key limitation that Major Jason Watson infringed upon: no contempt towards leaders. It is illegal to use contemptuous words against the President, Vice President, Congress, or the Secretary of Defense. This applies especially to commissioned officers. In Major Jason Watson's case, he is asking for the President and the Vice President to be impeached because they never brought it to Congress what they intended to do in Venezuela and Iran, calling it an unconstitutional usurpation of Congress's authority and a violation of the War Powers Clause. These violations resulted in the deaths of 13 service members and injuries to hundreds more. For this, the President and Vice President should be impeached, convicted, and removed. Watson also called the administration's immigration policies and tactics unconstitutional, which I do believe most American citizens who are on the side of freedom agree with on all of those points. So if it's illegal for a person in the armed forces to use contemptuous words against leaders, how are they supposed to express their distrust of an administration? Either strictly as a private citizen, or they must use specific legal pathways protected by the Military Whistleblower Protection Act. These include reporting the issue to their formal chain of command, filing a confidential complaint with the Department of Defense Inspector General, or speaking directly and lawfully to a member of Congress. But as it so often seems to happen, whistleblower protection is thrown out of the window. Let's take a look at the case of Noah Pichero. While he wasn't in the military, he was an officer in the state of Rhode Island. After raising concerns to a local reporter about flock cameras and raising those concerns to the Government Oversight Committee of Rhode Island, he was, in his words,
what I got for that was suspensions without pay. I lost my promotion to detectives. I had my character sullied, and all that eventually led to my resignation, which was forced on me. It wasn't my choice, but I had no choice at this point. After I resigned, I was asked to sign an NDA by my department, which I didn't even know was allowed in my profession, but maybe that's just a sign of my ignorance. But I refused to sign that NDA, and as a result, I've become unhireable in my profession. I can no longer be a police officer in my state because I guess you could say plainly I'm a bit of a rat, if you want to put it that way. I'm not naive. I know how the world works. I know that when you talk about issues that want to still be kept hidden, that the price you will pay for that is you lose your job. And I don't share this to do the whole woe is me bit. I simply share to prove that some nobody patrolman from Rhode Island had his livelihood taken away from him for simply saying, hold on a second, for a technology that we apparently have nothing to worry about. And if you are worrying about it, it's because you have something to hide.
There are many more examples of this type of situation where somebody tries to go through legal channels. Oftentimes, whistleblowers are ostracized and forced to resign or give up their long-tenured careers in order to uphold truth and the oaths that they made. Do you think that there should be stronger levels of protections for whistleblowers? Do you think the UCMJ should be reviewed and revised? If we cannot publicly question authority, then this country is no longer free. I highly value freedom of speech as one of the core tenets to pursue freedom, liberty, and justice within our country. Therefore, for the month of July, I will be continually speaking about freedom of speech and patriotic traditions that uphold the Constitution and our right to freedom of speech. If you wish to support me in this endeavor, please listen to our new song, Freedom of Speech. It is streamable anywhere.